A series of protests were held today against the rising cost of living and the current economic crisis that Sri Lanka is facing. What were the demands that were made at these protests? We've got the details lined up for you on Primetime News on TV1 tonight. But first, a look at your top stories.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
At the President's office on the present crises.
ජනාධිපතිවරණය පවත්වන්න එදාට රටේ ජනතාව වැඩ පෙන්නයි කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියවෙන්නේ.
Askiri Anunayaka displeased over present state of affairs. IMF representatives meet President. Cabinet approval to obtain technical assistance. Finance Minister travels to India with the hope of obtaining loans to purchase fuel and medicine. Advisory Committee for the Economic Council.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
In a top story tonight, opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says a presidential election must be called to allow the people to make a decision. He made these remarks while leading a protest opposite the president's office in Colombo.
The Samika Janabalawegya organized a protest march to oppose the rising cost of living and to demand the government to offer a solution. One protest march began near the PD Sirisena grounds in Maligawatha, while another began from the opposition leader's office. The protest was launched under the theme Save Sri Lanka from Destruction.
Our objective is to show the burden faced by the people to the president, who is turning a blind eye to that. Go back to your motherland. Don't burden the innocent people even further.
The protest march that commenced from two locations made its way towards the president's office in Colombo.
The selling rate of the dollar stands at 280 rupees. It will go up to 300 rupees in the coming days. People don't have means of surviving. We expect the country's leaders to take the relevant steps to address this. If they don't listen to the people's mandate, we will have to take democratic steps in and outside parliament to end this corrupt family rule.
A demonstration was held opposite temple trees as well. The protesters attempted to enter the president's office to discuss their problems, but the police prevented them from entering the premises.
There is no diesel, there is no food, there is no milk powder, there is no electricity, there is nothing. People are in queues throughout the day. We wish to warn the President and his team that their term is short-lived. We will give you a month. The people feel they can't even last during that period. But as a responsible opposition, we will give you a month. We came here to show that we can chase you away forcibly. People are in queues, unable to afford 3 meals daily. We are pleading Gotabaya Rajapaksa to go home. Go back to the United States.
Yanda, Gota go home! Gota go home! Gota go home! America tolonchi wala yanda kiyala thamai ada rate janatawama kiyanne.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa, who leads the Samagi Jana Balawegya, then spoke to the protesters.
මම අවසාන ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා කරුණා කරලා ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිවරයා.
The government, including President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa should allow us to run the country if they can't do their job properly.
අපි වැඩේ කරලා පෙන්නන්න. සමහරෙක් අහයි කොහොමද එහෙම කියන්නේ කියලා.
Sometimes they might ask us how I can say that. I wish to tell the people who are in queues for fuel that 3 Middle Eastern countries have promised the Samagi Jana Balawegya government that they are willing to supply fuel to us and that the payments can be made in 2 years. Go home or allow the people to decide.
අපේ රටට ඉන්ධන ලබා දෙන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ 3න් 2 අනුමැතිය තවත් ඔන අනුමැතිද.
Is 2/3 in parliament the approval? What other approvals are required? We need a presidential election again. On that day, the people in the country will show their strength.
රටේ ජනතාව වැඩ පෙන්නයි කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියවෙන් මේ දුර්දාන්ත ආණ්ඩුවට මේ රටේ වෙන විකල්පයක් නැහැ. මෙතනයි විකල්පය තියෙන්නේ. සමගි ජන බලවේගයයි විකල්පය. මේක තමයි පොදු ජනයාගේ, මේක තමයි පොඩි මිනිහගේ, මේක තමයි දුප්පතාගේ, මධ්‍යම පන්තියේ උගතාගේ, වෘත්තිකයාගේ, ව්‍යාපාරිකයාගේ මේ සියලු දෙනාගේම තන මෙතනයි. එක්සිත්ව, එක්සත්ව, ජන සම්පන්නව අපි මේ ගමන දිනවමුයි කියලා යෝජනා කරමින්.
Rather than focusing on our victory, let's make the 22 million people in this country victorious.
ජය වේවා, ජය වේවා, ජය වේවා.
Police scene of crime officers were seen examining the area opposite the president's office after the demonstration.
News First with the people.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Register today for a Zoom workshop on new technology in Sinhala.
Win the world with innovations. On the 24th of March at 3 p.m.
Register via 0777 60020.
Organized by Slit Institute.
Tech Bus.
Main sponsor.
Slit Knowledge University. Challenging convention and redefining education.
News First with the people.
The Anunayaka of the Yaskiri chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Venderue Upali Anunayaka Thera, says that he is disappointed over the fate of the country.
Venerable Venderue Upali Anunayaka Thera commented on the country's present situation when he was visited by Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna parliamentarian Jagat Kumara. Parliamentarian Jagat Kumara visited the Mahanayaka of the Malwathu chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera, and also the Anunayaka Thera.
The Mahasangha had this to say at a media briefing.
මුළු සමස්ත සමාජයේම ශ්‍රී ලාංකික
Sri Lanka is travelling rapidly towards destruction. This is not a natural destruction. This is a massive disaster created by man. Who are these people who created it? Sri Lankans are struggling immensely on a daily basis. There are many queues. We can hear complaints from all parts of the country. The people are cursing the government on the streets. They are openly cursing the ruler, saying that they have had enough of this. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is to address the nation tomorrow. What can a president who is enjoying full executive powers tell the nation and the people? The people have a common message to the president. That is, please resign.
ජනාධිපතිතුමාට කියන පණිවිඩයක් තියෙනවා කරුණා කළා බැහැලා යන්න. ප්‍රශ්නයක් මතුවෙන හැම වතාවෙම
He feels that addressing the people based on what his allies say whenever a problem arises will solve that problem. Therefore, we wish to tell the president, who is to address the nation tomorrow, that it is not the solution to this crisis. The country's economy was dragged towards destruction in the last few months. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa should be removed from his position. He must resign. We have our doubts on the solutions that would be developed by the Economic Council that comprises of politicians. We haven't elected a government to provide excuses for the issues faced by people. This is not a time to switch parties, to form national governments, or to divide the wealth of the public among themselves. Please stop unnecessary development activities. The government's main responsibility is to address the hunger of the people.
මහ ජනතාවගේ කුසගින්න නිවීමයි.
Have authorities resolved the fuel crisis? The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation says that there are enough fuel stocks in the country. We have formulated a plan to ensure that fuel tankers reach the country continuously in the next 2-3 weeks this month. Therefore, we can assure you that there won't be a fuel shortage in the country. Despite assurances that enough fuel is available in the country, people continue to stand in queues at filling stations to purchase diesel and octane 92 petrol. Many people had queued up to purchase diesel in Town Hall this morning. A bowser carrying only petrol had then reached the location.
පාන්දර 4:00ට දරුවෝ අරගෙන පාක්කොල වාහන නවතරගෙන මෙතන මේ දුක් විඳිනවා. අනේ මහත්තයෝ කරුණා කරලා මේ දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන් හරි මේ කරුණා කරලා අපිට මේ සාහනය ලබා දෙන්න.
Long queues were seen at filling stations in Kohuala and Nugegoda.
I visited 10 filling stations. There was no petrol. I asked them to come and see the situation here. This is a nuisance to us. We are suffering under a government which we elected.